The main reason for writing JAMB is to get admission. Now, many students score high in JAMB every single year, and at the end of it all, some of them don't get admitted. Why some score low and end up getting admitted? In 2025, over 2 million candidates registered for JAMB, but at the end of it all, when the JAMB results came out, it was estimated that people that can get admission using the JAMB score estimate is only 22%. That is 420 plus out of the 2 million people that registered. Now, what this means is that people that can be able to get admission when the JAMB result was released were people that scored 200 plus and above. But at the end of it all, when the statistic of admission came out for the year, it was noted that 65% got admitted that single year. What changed? The estimate before was 22%. That is 420 students to get admission. But at the end of it all, up to 65% got admission. So I advise you should stick around in today's video because I'm going to be telling you what you need to do to get admitted this year, no matter your JAMB score. Hello again, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Gideon, and I'm a 300 level College of Medicine student of University of Nigeria, Enugu campus. And I make this kind of video on this channel. I make videos about JAMB. My aim is to help JAMB candidates every single year to succeed and gain admission. And as well, I make videos about post UTME, and I make videos about self-development, learning on how to learn, and how to succeed in general as a student. If that's what you're interested in, hit on that subscribe button and also like this video so that YouTube can project it to many people. And let's dive into today's video. The first thing you need to do now that you have finished your JAMB examination is to know the admission cutoff mark of your school. This admission cutoff mark is divided into two. We have the general cutoff mark and we have the departmental cutoff mark. Now, these two are different cutoff marks. In fact, they play a vital role in your admission process. This will remind me what happened to one of my friends when back then in secondary school, when we just finished our JAMB examination and then we finished and we saw our result. So when he saw his result, he had a particular score and then he has to check the cutoff mark for the school he's applying for. So he saw the general cutoff mark of that school and then he concluded that he's going to get admission into that school because he compared the general cutoff mark to his JAMB score. And he even scored higher than the general cutoff mark. So he was very happy that I'm going to get admission because I scored higher than the general cutoff mark. Now, at the end of it, he didn't get admission. And I'm going to be explaining why he didn't get admission because there's a difference between general cutoff mark and departmental cutoff mark. Now, he was comparing his score with general cutoff mark, which is not even applicable to his departmental cutoff mark because what really determines admission is departmental cutoff mark. Away from the general cutoff mark, which still determines admission, departmental cutoff mark is the hallmark of your admission determinant. So general cutoff mark is the overall cutoff mark for the school for that particular year. Schools do set a particular cutoff mark for the institution every single year, and sometimes it remains stable for all the years. So sometimes they set a particular score for their institution every single year, and sometimes they use the one of last year, to run for the year. General cutoff mark is being set by school, while departmental cutoff mark is being determined by the number of people that applied into that department and the number of score or the higher score that people that applied into that department got. For example, the general cutoff mark for most of the institutions, especially universities, is always 180. So that 180 is the mark that you must meet as a candidate for you to even apply into the institution. So that is what general cutoff mark is. So for example, let's say UNN general cutoff mark is 180. Now, before you can apply for any course in UNN, you must score more than 180. That is what general cutoff mark is. And some institutions like Uniben and UI that have 200 as the general cutoff mark, you must score 200 before you can even apply for any single course in the institution. So general cutoff mark is the cutoff mark you must meet before you can apply for any institution, not before you can apply for any course, but before you can apply for into any institution. Now, when you're now talking about into any course in that institution, that's when you now talk about the departmental cutoff mark. So when you now know that you are qualified to apply into that institution because you met the general cutoff mark, now we'll now start talking about the departmental cutoff mark. So the departmental cutoff mark is the cutoff mark you must meet for that particular year for you to get admitted into the department of that school that you have met the general cutoff mark. Every department of Nigerian institutions have a quota for their admission every single year, and this quota is a particular number that they will reach and they won't accept anybody into their department again. For example, I'm going to use medicine and surgery in UNN as example. I don't know the specific quota for medicine and surgery in UNN, but I'm going to use an instance. Let's say in UNN, the quota for medicine and surgery in UNN is 100, for example. I'm not saying it's 100, I'm just saying for example. What that means is that MBBS is not going to admit more than 100 students into their department for that single year. So what it means is that for people that applied to study medicine and surgery in University of Nigeria and Nsukka, they will estimate it from the highest scholar to the lowest scholar. Now, let's say for example, the highest person that is on the list is 375, and then the lowest person is 302. Now, 302 is going to be the 100th person. Now, this is because out of people that applied, the lowest person that fit into the quota scored 302, and that 302 was the last person on the list of the quota. So that 302 will fall into the 100th person in the quota, and at the end of it all, that will be the cut-off mark for the year. So if you applied for medicine and surgery in UNN for that particular year and you scored 301, you are not going to get admission. If you scored 300, you are not going to get admission. If you scored 299, you're not going to get admission. Now, when I'm talking about the 100% score, I'm talking about the aggregates. That is the score you get in your JAMB and your post-UTME combined. So when they do the necessary calculation according to the way each institution does their own, you are going to get a particular aggregate, and that aggregate is what determines whether you get admitted or not. I think this should open your mind that admission is a competition, because that quota will be determined by people who score high and people who score low. Now, what I mean is that people that score high will be at the top of the quota, while people that score low will be at the bottom of the quota, and some people that score low will even be out of the quota. And that's when you hear that some people scored high in the JAMB and they couldn't get admission. This is because there are people that scored higher than you. You scored 312, there are people that scored 380 something, the people that scored 370 something, and both of you are competing for the same course. You see that, so it's not going to be the same competition level. After this, the next thing to do is to purchase your school screening form. Stay updated on your school website or your school social media platform, or stay updated on the internet as well, so that you know when your school has started selling their screening form. The third one is to participate in your school post-UTME examination. Now, different schools adopt different method of post-UTME. Some schools adopt online screening, while some adopt physical screening, while others adopt aptitude tests. So for the online screening, this is just using your O-level result to determine your post-UTME result for that particular year. So for some institution like UNN, they will use your O-level result, and that's how they do calculate it. So they will use it, and when they get that particular score, they will use it as your post-UTME result for that particular year, and they will add it to your JAMB result to get your aggregate, and that will be your aggregate for that year, which will determine your admission. While some institutions practice or use physical screening as the method of screening. So in this kind of case, you have to come to the institution or to the campus and then write the examination based on your subject combination, and whatever you get will be your post-UTME result for that particular year. While some adopt aptitude tests, some institutions like Obafemi Awolowo University, that is OAU, they do adopt aptitude tests, and this aptitude test, you won't only write your subject combination, but you also be writing general knowledge, you also be writing current affairs, and maybe some other ones. It is your duty to stay updated on your school current information. Stay updated on your school websites, on your school platforms, to know the kind of or the method of post-UTME that they adopt, so that you know how to prepare accordingly. If you miss out on the current updates of your school, you will eventually miss out on the admission. That's all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.